It is time to tackle the next line, the Queen f3 line in the Viena Gambit. So let's go back to the start. 4 e5, knight c3, knight f6, f4, d5, pawn takes, knight takes, queen f3. As I mentioned in the last video, here the main lines are either knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, or pawn d3 here, when we were going to take and play d4, or even play pawn d3 here immediately. But we more or less follow the same pattern. Takes, takes, and pawn d4 to stop consolidation from white. I don't think in any of these lines black is under a lot of problems. Queen e2 is possible, but then we will follow in a similar fashion than in the line that I am about to propose. And that means to play knight c6. Looks like a sacrifice, but actually is not so, because if white takes now, then we play knight d4. The queen will have to go most probably to d1. Queen d3 actually is a mistake. We take, and if he takes, things are really bad if he doesn't already, but if he takes, he's just losing after bishop f5 and a knight c2. If he plays, for example, queen c3, well, sadly for white here, black has the strong and beautiful bishop b4, and you can call it a game. If I take on b4, knight c2, and if I try to be persistent, well, there is not much to do after this. So let's go back. Well, king d1, and then pawn takes, and black is more or less winning here. I know it doesn't look as bad, but well, the e5 pawn is going to fall. The e4 pawn actually is really annoying for white. If he tries to play something like knight e2 to get my knight out of the way, then check. And if g3, knight f3. And I mean, I guess this doesn't need to be analyzed much more, right? This is just a disaster. You cannot even take, because then you get checkmated. Okay, so knight g3, bishop g4 is still terrible. I am losing something because of the pin. Okay, so queen e2 is no bueno. He cannot take. Probably he will play something like knight f3 to stop knight d4. But then we just play Petrov style, trying to hold our knight and trying to force him to get out of him. And once again, typical idea that we saw in the last videos. Black is just better. Okay. So queen f3, well, against queen f3, we have the same idea. It's not as strong, but it's possible still. Now white has two options. He can take, or he could try to push for something with bishop b5. Bishop b5 is just better, but let's see what happens if he takes. So takes, pawn takes, and now for white the... Oh, sorry, no. Takes knight d4 first, same idea as before, intermediate move. Okay, and now white has to play the queen to c3 if he doesn't want to lose. If he plays queen d1, we have the same position as before. If he plays queen f4, I can just take on c2 and then the rook, but actually pawn takes is even stronger. White has no good defense. Bishop c4, bishop f5, bishop b3 to stop. He was threatening checkmate. Bishop b3 looks like he stopped everything, but this position is super bad. I'm playing queen e7 and taking on e5. White here is already really lost, even if it doesn't seem to be that clear. So on the move, queen c3, pawn takes. So this is a little bit better version of the line. One second, yeah, of the line we saw before. Black is threatening bishop c5, so white has to do something about it. Here, he is still on time to play something like knight d2. He's taking the knight on d4. I don't want that to happen, so the best line for black is knight c6. Well, my knight is better on c6 than his knight on e2. Knight f4, queen d4. If I take on d4, knight takes is basically winning. I once again get a huge advantage. So bishop b5, and here black will take on c3, but I like better bishop c5. My threat is to play queen f2, and then take the knight. Things will be way better for black, because then I will be playing bishop g4 too. So white should do something about it. Probably he will take, and after bishop takes, well, as black I am better. Easier development. If hype is falling, if white really knows what to do here, to be honest, his position will be just worse, but most probably he will lose miserably on this situation. It's really hard to play as white this position. So I think that covers. Let me see. Oh no, one more line. Bishop b5. So this is what white should play to stop knight d4. But once again, black has a really good way to get here a solid, slightly better position. We take on c3. Now if it takes with the queen to try to take on c6, that may look sneaky, but actually it's a really bad move, because I just play queen check. g3 is a bad idea because check, and I will get the whole rook. And if he moves the king, or does for the most part almost anything, I just play bishop d7, and black should be better. Better development. If hype is weak, white's king is weak, and his coordination is not great. For example, knight f3, queen h5, let's say pawn d4, bishop e7, something like bishop e3 probably, castles, and pawn f6 to open the same line where the king is coming. Probably like it's close to the decisive advantage here. His development is just too good. Okay. So bishop b5, knight takes, d takes, b takes will be more or less the same. Check. This is a line that we need to remember, by the way. It's a line that definitely we need to learn. Here and check. Here, if not bishop f5, knight now. Wow. This is just really bad. Bishop b3, bishop f5. So at least here the pawn could eventually be a target. Here probably white will have to take, if not bishop d7, looks slightly better for black. And we got this position where I think as black, after bishop e3, I think bishop e3 is the main move. We play h5, we want to play h4, so if he wants to stop that, should play h3. So h4, g4, but now we do something similar on the other side. a5, 92, a4, and almost whatever he does, we will come soon enough. Well, this one to stop bishop g5 looks sensible enough. And rook a5 to target the pawn on a5 is coming. So I think that's it. That covers everything. So with that we cover queen e2 and queen f3, and against bot, knight c6 is our move. To take on e4 is really dangerous. So white should play bishop b5, but then we saw the line taking. This, by the way, is the same I mentioned, taking with the d pawn, but this is more or less the same recipe. u3 check. If we place queen f2 in this line or the other one, we can just take, or even play bishop e7, but I would just take. Bishop e7, castle, and f6. So here white at least could get a target on e4. And yeah, just remember, our plan is to play h5. If he allows us, we can play h4, and if he stops it with h3, our plan will be, well, after this, to play a5, a4, rook a5. And if he doesn't take, in this case or the other one, like for example he plays 92, then we just play bishop d7. We threaten to take the pawn, so probably this one. Oh no, here I have this trick. Or doesn't. I attack the bishop on b5. I think this is best. But yeah. I mean, these pawns look great. I don't even have to play like that. I could just keep it. I could just castle, for example, having the same threat. Okay, this is getting too long. So I guess this is the line. I hope it's useful for you to remember to learn what to do against queen e2 and queen f3. Just spoilers. I really like also the line with pawn f5. I think black is doing really well there, especially if white plays pawn d3 and we can go to the same setup as in the d3 lines. But I check Bologan's ideas in his book about the e5 openings, and I think he's right on the money. Against queen f3, knight c6 has to be the strongest move, trying to take immediate advantage of that exposed position of the queen. Okay, that's all for now. I hope this is useful, and we cover the Viena. We cover all the main lines. Knight f3, pawn d3, queen f3, and even queen e2. So we are done with the Viena for now. Eventually, I will add some extra material with model games so we can have a better idea about how to play this line, but at least what is the basic opening theory, we have it covered now. Okay, so that's all for now. Take care. Bye-bye.